If you're confused by all of the different New Balance numbers, this guide will definitely make it make sense. Now, in the first section, I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about which kind of sneaker wearer you are, and we're going to kind of talk about different categories, kind of give you a better view of how you should be looking at your sneakers in terms of purpose. Now, first I want to ask you, are you trying to prioritize comfort? Do you want style, aesthetics, and like more of like the fashion forward looks? Are you chasing that vintage, chunky runner vibe? Or do you just want a daily go-to that doesn't look like what everyone else has on their feet? Since we go ahead and kind of got all like the ground rules and like the purpose, make sure you keep that in your head as we're gonna go through this, because I'm telling you each and every single section I will go ahead and name the purpose and like what you should be using the sneaker for, at least in my intended use for it. So with that being said, first one we're gonna talk about is the one I would call the OG upgrade. Now this is one of them ones that is a shoe you would grab if you're all about comfort, if you're all about heritage and quality. Now this is the sneaker I think about when I think about like New Balance's like most known sneaker, I would say. But this is the one that I would say is iconic for sure. But the V6, I gotta say, takes everything up a notch. This is the newest to its line. But with that being said, you're definitely going to get stability, a modern shape, and you're definitely going to get that made in USA feel. Now, if you weren't able to already guess what this sneaker is, this is the New Balance 990 V6. But if you want the same comfort without that premium price tag, because that shoe does go for about $200, wait until you see number 3 on this list. But before we get to number 3, we got to get to number 2. And number 2 is what I like to call the Balance MVP. And how can you go wrong with a sneaker that's balanced? So this is going to be one that is everywhere in 2025, or I feel like is everywhere at this point. But with that being said, that is definitely for a good reason. So this is one that's got that chunky vibe to it, has that style, and it has the everyday wearability. And with that being said, it looks like a high fashion sneaker. And it still feels like something you can wear to run errands or even hang out with some friends. Now with that being said, this one is the New Balance 2002R, and I gotta say the one I specifically will recommend to you to check out is the protection pack. I gotta say that one is very underrated, and I feel like I don't see those too much. But I gotta say, if you get the protected pack, you're definitely gonna be straight, especially since we are in the summertime. You are definitely gonna be looking right for the summer. Now, on to number 3, the one we are talking about, the one you should wait if you want that comfort without the premium price tag. Now, this one, of course, is one of the most accessible models in the New Balance family. Now, this one's clean, it's simple, and it pairs well with just about anything. This is the perfect starter shoe, and if you're just building your wardrobe, this is definitely going to be that go-to. This is the New Balance 574, which I gotta say, and I gotta keep it real authentic with y'all, this is definitely not one of the sneakers that I would definitely just go out and buy just because it's budget friendly. This is not really my cup of tea. I've said this multiple times in my videos. It's not really my vibe. But with that being said, you guys, if it's your vibe and if you just want something very budget friendly, or if you like that New Balance brand, if you want something that's very classic, I definitely would recommend to you the New Balance 574. But if your style leans more towards like the futuristic side of things, or maybe even tech wear, you definitely need to see number 5. So before we get to number 5, number 4 is that statement shoe. Now I gotta say, number 4 is, man, my favorite New Balance of all time. I gotta say, as of now, currently. And this is one that is one of the most popular New Balance sneakers I've gotta say that I've seen in person. So you guys comment down below and let me know what y'all think it is off rip before I even reveal the name. But this is, I gotta say, New Balance at its most experimental time. I gotta say, I think it resembles the 990, and then it has like a whole different not midsole, but heel. And I gotta say, what they did with this heel, it does look a bit bulky, but it's definitely like a good bulky. It pairs well with athletic fits, it pairs well with like a dressy fit, or basically anything in between. But with that being said, you guys, it has that chunky midsole, it has some wavy lines, and crazy color blocking. Now, you're not just gonna be wearing just any pair of sneakers, you're literally wearing architecture with this type of build. This is the New Balance 9060s, and I would definitely say if you're just starting out, I recommend maybe some neutral tones. Neutral tones are very in if you didn't know that already. And if you want to stay tapped in with like some of the latest and greatest tips, I definitely recommend you subscribe to this channel right here because I post daily content. With that being said, I definitely, like, as a fun tip, I definitely would say to start off with some neutral tones if you're kind of unsure. But once you're confident, the bold colorway is definitely hit hard, and you got a plethora amount of colorways with this shoe right here. But on to number 5. This is going to be the people that just like retro minimalism is the best way I can put it. But this one is for those who love a retro runner silhouette, but with something that is a little more understated. Now this has a sleek design, has that oversized end branding, and just enough edge to keep it interesting. This is the New Balance 327, and this is a very great sneaker, very lightweight. It has like a smaller build. I don't know how it goes with people that have wide foot. But with that being said, I am narrow-footed. It's not like a wide foot type of thing for me, so I definitely say it works for me. But I definitely say try on all of these sneakers before you buy them. I definitely recommend doing that because you definitely don't want to buy a sneaker and then get it and it's not what you expected. But with that being said, I also watch some review videos, which I do a lot of reviews on the channel, and I'll put like my playlist card up here somewhere so you guys can go ahead and check it out. But check out those reviews and make sure that this sneaker is what you want to get into. But I gotta say, if you're someone who needs that like all day support because you're maybe standing all day long, maybe for like travel as well, or maybe for like long walks, number 6 is gonna be that sleeper pick. And at number 6, I have the Fresh Foam X1080 V14. This is one that I had the pleasure to do on the channel, like a full in-depth and detailed look very recently. I believe I dropped the video a week or two ago at the time this video drops. But with that being said, this is one that I believe even New Balance said that this is the one that they would say if they had their only running sneaker, this would be the one. But I gotta say, this is probably the comfort king of New Balance sneakers. I know people also will argue that the More V5 is probably more comfortable. I personally haven't had that one on foot, so I can't really vouch for it. But I gotta say, this is definitely one of the most comfortable. But that Fresh Foam system is amazing in this New Balance sneaker. And I gotta say, this one is for the runners, you got the commuters, and even the travelers. And the foam technology is just insane. Now, with that being said, every step feels cloud-like. And I gotta say, this is not the most stylish New Balance out there. But if your function is top priority, don't go ahead and skip this one for sure. And now on to number 7, we're going to talk about, I would say, the UK cult favorite. Now this is the New Balance 991, which is probably one you haven't heard about too much. But this pair definitely screams refined taste. It's less hype than the 990, but just as premium. And if you want a sneaker that nobody else is wearing but looks elite, I gotta say, this is the one. And bonus, I gotta say, a little bonus tip is that the made in UK models feel super high end and the build quality just lasts. So that's a little pro tip for y'all. Check out those made in UK models and you definitely won't regret it. Now, before I go ahead and get into my honorable mentions, I'm gonna talk about the everyday lifestyle pick. And I want you guys to go ahead and comment down below what you guys think it is before I name it. But this is the ultimate copy and paste of the Nike Dunk. And I'm gonna give y'all 5 seconds to go ahead and try to guess what it is, and you guys just comment down below. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did you guess it? If you did guess it correctly, this is the New Balance 550. Now, for some reason, I've been hearing a lot of people on the internet say this is part of the Asian starter pack. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess it's trying to say that a lot of Asians put these shoes on. But I ain't gonna lie, I don't really be looking at people's shoes too crazy and like associating it with certain groups. So I really can't verify this. But with that being said, this is like a retro basketball silhouette that became a fashion essential. Now with that being said, you guys, this is great for casual fits and it's easy to style. And I gotta say, it's clean, slightly bulky, and it's still trending in 2025, surprisingly. Even though the Dunks are out of the picture, I haven't seen somebody wear a pair of Dunks in a minute. And I gotta say, if you had the audacity to bring out those Panda Dunks, you are diabolical. I feel like diabolical is the best word to use for the situation. But yeah, I gotta say it goes great with casual fits. It's easy to style, it's very clean, and it has a very great look to it, especially in like those muted colorways. And I gotta say, there is one ultra slept on model that deserves your attention in these honorable mentions, and I'm gonna give you guys about 5. So the 5 I have for y'all first is the New Balance 998. This recently has been revived, and it's great for heritage style fits. We got the New Balance 801, which is like a trail sneaker that's low-key perfect for city wear. We have the New Balance 650, which is the high top version of the 550, kind of like a more unique twist. And then we have the New Balance 1500, which is sleek and rare for the serious collectors. Now, the last one that I feel like should have been included in this list, if you want like a tempo runner, like just like a more like aggressive running sneaker than the Fresh Foam X1080 V14. This is the Fuel Cell Robo V4, which has great comfortability and it has great performance. And I wouldn't say this is really good if you style it. I mean, maybe some people do, but for me personally, I probably wouldn't style this with any type of fits outside of the running category. But now that you've seen some of the key players, which New Balance fits your style and lifestyle, let me know in that comment section below. Drop your favorite, and also let me know in the comment sections which one that I missed, and give us a little description so we can see who it's going to fit the best in terms of purpose. Now, with that being said, if you're building a rotation, this is just the start. Hit that like button and subscribe for more sneaker breakdowns, and also make sure to save this video if you're planning on copying something very, very soon. Now, I recommend you click here for a review on the newest, latest, and greatest New Balance, which is dropping in July. So I'm definitely putting you on. Click the video right here, and I'll see you in that one.